taking the online race broadcast performance to the next level. This is the Full Velocity Network.
Oh, what an awesome intro video. Got to thank our buddy Brian Wolf at Fluid Sim Racing Films for that. It's balls out, no doubt. It's the ultimate esport experience right here live on the Full Velocity Network. Good evening, everybody out in YouTube land. My name is Phil Lacasse. Thank you for being out here this evening at Extreme Motorsports. Season 2 finale here at the Talladega Super Speedway Championship night for our friend Frank Divins and all the guys that make up Extreme Motorsports tonight. A great field of cars on hand, and thrilled to have it here live flag to flag here on the Full Velocity Network. Joe Allen will be on the call here down at the control booth as always tonight, but joined in the booth this evening, our buddy Todd Stanton will weigh this afternoon. Thoughts and prayers out to the Stanton family as our little buddy Shelton Stanton had another procedure done as his road to recovery is on, and Todd had to attend to that today, so unable to be here this evening, but thrilled to have here my broadcast partner for the night alongside, making his FVN debut, Mr. Blake McCann. Listen, Blake, first time up here in the booth, and great to have you up here, man. Ready to have a good time?
Oh, absolutely, Phil. I'm thrilled that y'all were able to bring me on first, and I'd like to repeat what you said about Todd and the Stanton family. We're all thinking about you and about Sheldon. We're very glad that everything seems to be okay and that he's back home and will hopefully continue to recover. So send our thoughts out to him. But again, I'm honored that you guys would have me in the booth, and I'm ready to see a great race tonight. I don't know about you guys, but I think we got a good show brewing here for tonight.
Going to be an awesome show here. 57 circuits around the Talladega Super Speedway make up championship night for the Extreme Super Speedway Truck Series. They run here every Thursday night, 11 p.m. Q time. Extreme Motorsports open to all community drivers out there in the NASCAR Racing 2-3 community, or any kind of sim racing you come from. The guys at Extreme certainly will welcome you. Contact Extreme Motorsports, especially Frank Divins, the league owner here at Extreme. They do a great job here, racing 4 nights a week, I believe, as we take it and highlight it here. They call this series the prelude to the SRA DraftKings Super Speedway Series, Midnight Extreme Super Speedway Series that runs on Friday night. So wait for these guys to come out, test and tune, and what better way here to get them live on the Full Velocity Network here on championship night. Joe Allen, I know it's a series that you and I have run a couple of times in this season. Always a great time to come to Extreme, and pretty solid field of cars we have on hand here tonight. A lot of heavy hitters up and down this field.
Absolutely. We see a lot of the SRA premier guys that are out here supporting Frank Divins in the Extreme Series. And, Frank has kind of shifted away from his traditional Super Speedway Series to kind of act as the prelude to the SRA Super Speedway Series, running the same track schedule and combination week in and week out, as you touched on, as kind of a practice session out there. So I expect to see a lot of fun racing out there. This is a Derek Justice and Jason Scrokey special here, the Talladega SRA 2017 version. 3 distinct grooves that can all work, and we could see some potential 4-wide out there as well, guys. So I think we're going to be in for one heck of a show, and the guys out there, the guys and ladies, I should say, Jessica Shelton out there as well, going to put on one heck of a show for all of our viewers, and I'm super excited. I know you guys are excited, and I'm sure the drivers are excited. This is a special day. Everybody loves racing on TV for all the fans out there, and I'm anticipating some fun.
Yeah, and special thanks to Doug Lockrell for throwing down the challenge to us this evening to come out here and be a part of the Super Speedway finale. And Doug's throwing out there a challenge to our drivers tonight. If anybody can go out there and win the race, well, if he can go out there and lead laps, Doug is going to pledge $1 for every lap that the leader can lead of this race. So if the eventual winner can go out there and lead, all 57 laps here tonight, he would walk away with $57. That's a really sweet deal. Doug Lockrell coming in tonight as our point leader, 15 markers up on Randall Coleman. So this race for the championship, Blake, it's not over yet. 15 points is really next to nothing, and anything can happen anytime you come to a super speedway.
Oh, absolutely. You just never know what can happen here at the high banks of Talladega. And I'm telling you what, I think Frank Divison's hoping here for a last lap pass, and maybe he'll only have to fork over a whole dollar instead of seeing one of these guys dominate all night. But it definitely should make the racing exciting, especially the battle up front when it's 1, 2, even 3 wide. You're going to see guys almost going all out, because if they are the victor at the end, that's $1 a lap. That's quite a bit at stake here for these guys.
Something that makes us as race car drivers very, very jealous to not be out on the racetrack, especially in a series that you're out in almost week after week. So it'd be cool to see these guys out there and showcase it tonight. A great field, some of the best as far as super speedway racers in the entire NR 2-on-3 community. And these guys will no doubt be on tap tomorrow night over at the Sim Racing Association for the SRA DraftKings series. So anybody looking to come out there and do some side-by-side super speedway racing in a big pack like we'll see here at Talladega tomorrow, head on over. Check us out. Our home base, FullVelocityNetwork.com, is our new home. But, guys, it's almost time to go trackside here. So let's start with trackside for the playing of tonight's national anthem. All right, the national anthem to get us started here tonight at the Talladega Super Speedway. 18 of the best drivers from Extreme Motorsports that make up this great community on tap here. 57 laps around the Talladega Super Speedway. Anybody out there looking to be involved in this series, all are welcome to come be a part of it. Contact Frank Divins at Extreme Motorsports to come be part of this great group. And sent over a promo here before we get these cars on the grid, just to give a quick shout out to what these guys got going on. This being the segment 2 finale. Well, segment 3 is going to be starting here next week, and Frank's going to offer up associate title sponsorship to anybody out there who'd like to put their name alongside this series. A $30 donation will be required to be the associate title sponsor for the series. That's going to go towards a trophy for the segment champion. So that's cool of them to do, to put that out there. So anybody looking to put their name out here, the title name on this series, that's a great idea. Come over and be part of that. A small donation to get you there. Also, Scott Geiswhite Creations is going to be donating 5 20-ounce coffee cups with a picture of the winning truck on the inside of the mug to the top 5 of segment 3. That is awesome. Also, the $5 race per race sponsorship program is going to be open. Segment 3 prize fund also open for donation. So check out these guys, Extreme Motorsports. Frank Divins and all the guys here are going to do a great job, and hope our viewers out there are going to enjoy a couple different special surprises tonight here. Is this field's going to take the grid for 57 laps around the Talladega Super Speedway. It's championship night. Doug Lockrow, as we said, coming in with a 15 marker advantage over Randall Coleman. Both of those drivers are going to start mid-pack, but let's throw it trackside for tonight's command.
Drivers, start your engines!
And with that, 18 of the best super speedway drivers in all the land bring their motors to life for 57 laps around the Talladega Super Speedway. So without further ado, Blake McCandless, let's dive straight into tonight's starting lineup.
All right, guys, starting on the pole, it should be no surprise here. Derek Justice in the 31 Baskin-Robbins Ford, and Jessica Shelton in the number 98 Cheerios Ram.
Rolling off tonight for row number 2. Welcome here to Extreme Motorsports inside of the number 33. That's the high side hustler, Martin Karch, and to his outside in the 088. Welcome back to Extreme. That's Greg Lovell.
Starting here, row 3, we got the 018 of Doug Lockrow, the guy offering up the prizes for tonight, and the number 53 of Sean Whitehill.
Rolling off on row number 4 tonight, championship contender here, coming in second in the standings in the 024. That's our buddy Randall Coleman, and to his outside in the 52, that's Ricky Collette.
Next up in the 9th spot, we got Scott Geiswhite in the number 47, and to his outside, we got Matt Watkins in the 15.
The Pride of Pennsylvania rolls off next in that Extreme Motorsports number 86. That's our buddy Jim Black. And to his outside in the number 80, first time on Full Velocity, we welcome Michael Cole.
Next, starting in 13th, we have Tom Richter in the Avis Chevrolet, and then Jaden Conster starting in the 54.
From 15th spot tonight, we find truck number 5. That is Mr. Excitement David Day, going to start from deep in the field. And rolling off 16th will be the 63. That is Mikey Marotta.
Then starting next, we got Frank Divins, and pulling up from the back, we got Ryan Pace in the number 88.
So that's your 18 drivers starting lineup from a Talladega Super Speedway. Check this out, guys. The Full Velocity semi-rig about to make its way down to pit road. A little bit of a surprise out there. We put the feeler out a few weeks ago to customize our very own pace vehicle for the Full Velocity Network. And thanks to Dave Stanley, NRT Game Servers, especially Jason Skaraki from SP Line Designs for putting this great work together, putting that semi-rig out there. You guys can see tonight, it's quite a work in progress, but you guys, I think, will get the gist of what's going on. But green flag is in the air, Blake.
Yes, sir. They're going up through the gears. They're crossing the start-finish line here, and it looks like everybody's starting to get double foul here as we head off into turn number 1.
Double wide into turn number 1. Looks like the inside lane may creep out a car length or two. Derek Justice, a 31. There, the inside lane, Martin Karch, the 33, pulling up alongside. They're going to pull up side by side. The outside lane can't find no running room up there at all. Jessica Shelton being relegated back to about the 3rd or 4th truck in line. I see Doug Lockrow's locked in there. Randall Coleman, the 024, all trying to find their way up front as they hit turn 3.
Yeah, it looks like this bottom row is the way to go early on in this race. Seems like they're able to get a run. That 33 of Martin Karch leading the outside lane. It just seems like those guys aren't really getting to work here, as Randall Coleman looks like he'll try to go to the outside of the 018, and then he'll duck down to the bottom and pull up right behind Derek Justice, who earns $1 after leading the first lap if he's able to pull on for the victory here.
Yeah, it's a cool challenge tonight thrown out by our buddy Doug Lockrow, a Super Speedway guru in his own right, looking to claim a championship here tonight in the 018. He's currently sitting in that 3rd or 4th spot, 3rd truck in line. First one pulling up that high side, but what I'm seeing here, Blake, through the opening laps, low lane looks to be prevailing. Is that you see Derek rolling out into the lead, but it's as we say that, here comes Randall Coleman, the 24 machine. He's got that blue and white truck up to the high side. He's going to look to take a bid for the race lead off of turn 4.
Yeah, and it looks like as he's pulling up, he's got the momentum. He'll be able to clear the 31 if he wants to here, and it looks like even the 47 of Scott Geiswhite will clear that bottom lane. It looks like we got a two truck breakaway here as Randall Coleman will be earning his first $1 of the night. Is that top lane? Man, where is that top lane come from?
Well, it's something we've typically seen through the years on the air here at Talladega Super Speedway. You know, always a track, of course, you can run 2, 3, sometimes 4 wide around this place, but topside, especially with the trucks, seems to always be that lane that's going to prevail. That's exactly what Randall Coleman did with help of teammate Scott Geiswhite there in the 47. They're going to punch their way out to the race lead. Looks like Doug Blockrow going to be stuck there in that 3rd spot. Greg Lovell, the 088, he's trying to pick his way forward. Looks like side by side for about that 4th spot as they come off the corner.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things we can talk about for this racetrack. It looks like whichever lane has the momentum and has the most trucks working together, it seems to be like that is the lane that prevails, and that's a great thing to do as a racer, to be able to strategize and whatnot. As it looks like you can see there's probably about 6 or 7 trucks down there in the bottom, but the rest of the field is all stacked up in that 2nd lane, and you can see it as it looks like Doug Lockrow and the 088 and Greg Lovell are battling for 4th place, and the rest is a 2-car breakaway up at the front.
Yeah, the 2-truck breakaway, I should say, at the front of the field. But I want to bring Joe into the conversation here. Joe, a guy who, you know, normally runs up on the front in one of these Super Speedway deals. Looking at the way these guys are running, you know, 8 or 9 trucks up to the high lane, 6 or 7 down to the low side. At this juncture early on in the race, which lane do you think you want to be in?
With knowing the way that the tracks and stuff are developed, I think depending on the lead you can get on the high side, that's definitely where you want to be. And you know, it's a mixture of moving the lanes around. As the bottom lane starts to get a run on the top lane, you'll see the top guys start to move down to the to the middle groove, I should say, to try and impede any momentum that bottom groove is able to run on them. And as they start to pull out to 3 or 4 truck length lead on the bottom lane, those guys will shift their attention back up to the wall and carry a bunch of momentum off of the corners here to keep them out there. So I think with the current setting, I'd rather be up top, but really it just depends on the trucks that you have in what lane and who's working with you. So you'll see this change drastically and frequently throughout the race, where sometimes the bottom will be preferred, sometimes the middle will be the preferred lane, and then at some point we'll see the top lane up by the wall will be the preferred lane as well. It just depends on, you know, that point of where we're at in the race with these trucks out there, guys.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. So far, the outside lane, definitely the lane you want to be here. So looking like, you know, you see on the 47 now of Scott Geisway, he's all over the back bumper of Randall Coleman, trying to keep those two guys up front. Doug Locker was right there in the 018, you know, trying to run down a championship here tonight. What better way to do so than running up here in the top 3 early on in this race? But they're starting to maneuver around here, Blake. 3, almost 4 wide, now 3 wide for the lead as they hit turn 3.
And it looks like the 47 is Scott Geiswhite going to get the momentum. Doug Lockrow looks like he's got nobody up there to help him on the half side. He's going to drift back to David Day. It looks like a battle for the 10th position. But interchange Randall Coleman and put Scott Geiswhite to the front here as they come down to the tri-oval. It looks like that bottom lane starting to prevail again as those top 3 cars are locked, bumper to bumper, all trying to push each other. And Scott Geiswhite will resume the lead.
Okay, so again, to take the lead into turn number 1, the new race leader here. What that really did there, Blake, that move that the 47 made to the low side, that really, you know, gave a jump to the inside lane. That pulled Greg Lovell, Derek Justin. How about the run for Michael Cole in the number 80, a guy we've seen here a little bit on the Super Speedways here recently. He's having a tremendous, you know, a fantastic run up inside the top 5. But once again, as we say that, almost 3 wide. Once again for the race lead, they are 3 wide in turns 3 and 4.
They are, and look at that orange truck we haven't really talked about tonight, just storming through the middle 3 wide. That's David Day running back there in the 8th position. He had a ton of momentum there coming from the bottom to the top. It looks like Randall Coleman got into the back of Derek Justice entering turn 3 there. It got him a little loose, but it looks like he was able to collect it. And now we got that 3rd lane with, probably about 5 trucks. The rest are on the bottom except for those 3 cars, Greg Lavelle, David Day, and Martin Karch stuck there in the middle. And we'll see which lane prevails. I predict it's going to be the bottom as Geiswhite is still able to maintain the lead.
Yeah, Geiswhite able to remain the leader there as he's worked the high side. He's worked the low side. He's got, you know, help right on his back bumper. Looks like the 80 of Michael Cole is right there in his tire tracks. Top side, as we say that, starting to fall to the wayside here a little bit. You see the likes of Derek Justice, a 31. He's stuck on the top side. I believe that's also looks like maybe the Greg Lovell machine. Also Sean Whitehill, the 53. They're trying to run that top lane forward. We've seen that top lane work through the opening laps here, Blake. But as we approach now putting lap number 9 on the board, looks like the majority of the trucks have moved to the low side, and that looks to be the lane prevailing, as it looks like a 4, maybe 5 truck breakaway here at the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, it looks like the one car trying to take advantage of that bottom lane. That's the number 98 of Jessica Shelton. Now, she's definitely no person to fret about. She may be the only woman here in this field, but she definitely made a statement by qualifying 2nd here, and I believe qualified on the pole here last week, as she's pushing that bottom lane, and it looks like Michael Cole will overtake Scott Geiswhite as they have the momentum. Oh, and they're getting close, 3 wide, almost squeezing into the 24 DC Scholler machine of Randall Coleman. Man, there's some great racing as it looks like all 3 lanes are packed here with trucks.
Yeah, they're packed all over the place. 2, 3 wide racing all over the place, from first place all the way back to the 18th position, where we find Ryan Pace. The entire field is separated by only 1 second, 10 laps into the run. So, you know, these guys sorted out 3 wide. You know, low side's got the advantage, but that middle lane, Blake, they are moving. They are on their charge through the middle. They were outside the top, you know, about 6th or 8th here a few seconds ago. They're going to march their way all the way up, maybe up into the top 5 here before too long.
Yeah, look at the person spearheading that move up the middle. We would expect no different from the number 5 Team Crush racing truck of David Day. As he's pushing Lavelle out to the lead, he's got his teammate Randall Coleman behind him. They're leading the charge here as that middle pack, with not very many trucks, is able to go right to the front here, as Day is all over that back bumper of the 088 of Greg Lavelle, as Lavelle will resume the lead and claim $1.
Oh, absolutely. And as we say that, we talked about a lap ago, Blake. The inside lane looked to be the place to be. Well, that's a 180-degree turn here 1 lap later. All the race leaders now glued to the outside of the racetrack, and they pulled that train probably 5 or 6 trucks past that inside lane. Michael Cole had the lead running the inside, but it's just a helpless feeling when all those trucks decide to go up to the high lane, and this is something you can do as a driver out there in the lead. That high side goes, you're just kind of a sitting duck. You're hoping for the push behind you, but it just shows the way that the draft plays a role here at the Super Speedway like this, Blake, with these truck physics.
Oh, absolutely. And as a driver, that's exactly what you want here. When you pull up to a super speedway, you want every single lane to basically be equal, and you want that draft and strategy and how you bump draft all the cars around you to be able to dictate which lane works the best. And it obviously seems like that's the case here, as we've talked about the middle, the bottom, and the top lane all being the way to go here. And it looks like whichever lane has all that momentum and drafting help is going to be the lane you want to go to, and that's going to make for very exciting races. You know, as we come to the end of this thing, you don't really know where people are going to go. They're going to go wherever the most help they think they can get is. So that's very exciting, definitely, for this racetrack, and it's a testament to the people who built it and obviously how well it's been racing here tonight.
It looks like, guys, we may have hit the end of our pit window here, going to put 13 laps on the board. Believe they're running 3X tire wear here tonight. That's going to make these guys come to pit road a little shorter time than we're used to. But if you look like to pit road, all the race leaders have dove their way on, and that's a gaggle of trucks. That's tough to get down to that 55 miles per hour and not speed, because that's the rule here at Extreme. You got to be 55 miles per hour at that line. That's not as easy as it looks, and these guys did an awesome job.
Absolutely, and it looks like a victim of somebody trying to slow down to that 50-mile-per-hour mark. It looks like the 33 of Martin Karch and the number 80 of Michael Cole got into it there. Michael Cole was parked onto the racetrack as they came into pit road. It looks like there was some contact from Martin Karch, and he was able to send the 80 onto the racetrack. They're going to definitely lose some precious time after that mistake.
Yeah, and I'm down here just looking at the pit stops. I saw Sean Whitehill, Randall Coleman, Greg Lovell, David Day, you know, amongst a gaggle of trucks that were all on pit road. Looked like the majority of the guys down there taking 2 left side tires. Now, that's interesting here. Something not too unfamiliar at a super speedway, Blake, when you come to a place like Talladega. You know, especially only burning about 13 laps of fuel. You're not gonna burn so much as far as tires. So 2 tires may be a smart play. Even gas that goes here at Talladega you can get away with.
Absolutely. You can tell who took 2 tires here. It's that David Day and Greg Lovell machine as they pull out to a pretty substantial lead over the 53 of Sean Whitehill and the rest of this pack here. As we get to see here in about a lap how these leaders were able to pit. It seems like all 5 of them came in without any issue, and it looks like they're all about to exit at relatively the same spot. Although it looks like Derek Justice, a guy that we usually talk about as being quite the master here on these pit stops, it looks like he may be losing a little ground as that second pack is starting to pull up.
Second pack is certainly out of charge as we get through this cycle of our green flag pit stops. We'll have to see how all these trucks cycle on around. That first group that came to pit road looks like they're losing a little bit of time to the second group, but as those second group, you know, the Matt Watkins, Tom Richter, Doug Lockros of the world, Doug looked like maybe he'd been the fastest off of pit road, but the question is now, with these guys that got that extra momentum pitting a lap early, here comes David Day, here comes Greg Lovell, those guys using an outside lane, they're going to propel themselves to the race lead, but just a hats off to all these guys, Blake. You know, mainly clean pit stops up and down pit road, but it looks like just trying to take the quick count. Looks like we're probably going to have about 10, maybe 12 trucks all gathered up in that lead pack. That's a great job by these guys.
It looks like we are, as we have what seems like a championship possibly altering move as Doug Lockrow is down on pit road for the second time tonight. It looks like maybe he had a black flag for possibly entering too fast or some type of pit road penalty. And here he is all alone here on pit road as he's losing a substantial amount of time. If you're Randall Coleman, this is exactly what you wanted to see. With about 18 cars in the field, you got to take advantage of everything you can to get all these points. And it looks like this may be an opportunity for Randall Coleman to take advantage of what looks like a mistake here by Doug Lockrose. He'll pull back onto the track. And it looks like we got trouble here in turn number 3. The 15 is around.
A wreck 2 turns, number 3 and 4. Sorry about that, Blake. See multiple trucks going around. Not sure what may have happened there, but definitely contact to put us under the caution flag. I think I seen the 15 of Matt Watkins among the trucks going around, multiple trucks involved there down toward turn number 3. Tough to tell if it was maybe a bumper grab or a bump draft gone wrong, but definitely contact there. It looks like around the 15 of Matt Watkins, the 63 of Mikey Marotta. And that's going to put us under caution flag for the first time tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It looked like there was some trouble there getting into turn 3 between the 63 and the 15, and I'm sure our buddy Joe Allen will be able to pull that up for you in a second. But also, we have to talk about what a break. We were just talking about how that could hurt Doug Lockrow substantially, and the caution falls perfectly to where he's not going to lose a lap, and he's going to be able to catch right back up to this field. So even though it was a tough break for Matt Watkins, it's definitely a nice break for that 018 of Doug Lockrow.
All right, I believe Joe Allen may be ready here with our first full velocity replay of the night. So, Joe, I believe we lost you on our back channel communication, but I'll throw it down to you. I believe that was the cue here for a replay.
Yes, sir, guys. I am ready to go here. We'll throw this thing back to our live screen. You are right. We're going to focus our attention on the number 15 of Matt Watkins and that number 63 of Michael Marotta here. We'll throw this thing in slow motion replay for you guys as they come down into turn 3 here. The 15 slides up the hill just a little bit. Gets kind of out in there to no man's land when they're running on the bottom. He tries to come back down, get back into a spot with the 63. They make some contact there, get into it with each other. We'll back this up one more time here. Go back up here. So you see me slides up the hill. Throw this thing back in slow-mo, and as he tries to come back down, that hole's already filled with the way the air moves there through the draft. The 63 closes that up. 15 just misjudges, thinks that he's still clear, maybe thinks that Michael Marotta is going to cut him a break there and let him back in, and unfortunately that's just not the case. That spins him around. That sends Matt back up into the line of traffic there. The 63 spinning down on the apron. The 52 right there of Ricky Collette just about misses it, makes a little bit of contact with the 15 through the grass there. He ends up getting around. That could have been a much bigger accident than it was, guys. So that was a great job by most of those guys missing it. It looked like it was really only 2 cars involved, and it was the 2 cars that brought out the caution. So back up to you guys in the booth.
Yeah, fantastic job by these guys to make sure that wasn't a bigger wreck than it was. But you know who's got to be really happy to see this caution flag? Probably our point leader coming in. Probably a guy, you know, as Blake said, had that, looks like pit road penalty, had to come pit one more time. And looks like with this caution flag, Blake, he's going to bring his way maybe back to the lead lap here. And that's, of course, our point leader, Doug Lockrow, guy responsible for getting us over here to Extreme Motorsports tonight. Let's see if we can't talk to our friend Doug. Dougie, fill the cast here from Full Velocity, buddy. You have a copy.
Gotcha.
Doug, as we were saying here, under the caution flag for the first time tonight, looks like a pit road penalty put you a little bit behind the 8 ball. You got to be as happy as anybody to see that caution flag.
Yeah, I was kind of coming in there, and I got in a little too hot. I sped down pit road.
A little bit of issue there, Doug. Thankfully for you, running for a championship here tonight. You get to pull back up to the lead lap, catch up to the pack, you know, get back on the same fuel and tire strategy and cycle with these guys. So that's going to make you feel good. But tell us about the pressure you're feeling here tonight. Racing for a championship. You got a tremendous competitor like Randall Coleman, 15 points behind you. So what's your mentality here? Are you running for a checkered flag here tonight, or is the game survival and trying to take this championship home?
It was survival, but right now I'm just gonna do my normal strategy and just go for it all.
Well, Doug, go for it all. As you said, it's going to be a good night here. A lot of great racing here left to go at Talladega Super Speedway. So far, so good. You guys putting on quite the show, but we'll let you get back to it, bud. Not going to let you thank those sponsors now. We're going to leave that and give you the challenge. Get up here on the podium and get here in the post race. So, you know, give that thing a good ride. I'm sure you will. And good luck the rest of the night, man. Keep the fenders on that thing.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Doug Lockrow out there in the 018 tonight, our point leader, trying to claim the Segment 2 championship over here for the Extreme Motorsports Super Speedway Truck Series. And, you know, so far, so good for him, Blake, here. That caution flag, you know what, big benefactor there for our buddy Doug.
Oh, absolutely. And it wasn't just Doug that was the beneficiary of that caution. We had the contact between the number 80 of Michael Cole and the 33 of Martin Karch. They were definitely behind the 8 ball there. He also had the 54 of Jaden Consterk, the 86 of Jim Black, and the 9 of Frank Divens, who all were off the lead pack on that draft. So it's definitely a good thing for those guys that they turned a 12-truck race, and now we'll bring all 18 cars back into the mix here It looks like we're going to restart with about 40 laps to go. So definitely that caution was a great break, because if not, you only have about 10 cars out there battling, and the odds of a caution definitely go down. So lucky for Doug and all those guys to be able to see that yellow flag come out here.
Certainly that. We'll wait to get this thing back under green flag racing. But how about the look of the all-new full-velocity semi-truck out there pacing the field here tonight? Wanted to save this. Hats off to J-Rock for all the great work he's done, for Dave Stanley for making this project come to life. You know, we wanted something unique. You know, of course, you know, the origins of full velocity come from our former employer, DRTV, where the DRTV Pace Fan was a fixture for so many years. And we felt that at full velocity, we needed something to call our own, make our own identity, and something else we hope that, you know, comes out with a great fan loyal following like the van did. So guys, we present to you tonight the full velocity semi rig. And Joe, I know you were super excited to see this project come to life, and really cool to bring you here live for the first time on the airwaves tonight. And thanks to the guys at Extreme for letting us bring this thing out. This is a big undertaking for us, and we wanted to show it off here. No better place to do it at Extreme Motorsports.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, J-Rock he'll have a discussion with us when we're done with our broadcast here, because he is dire to make sure that this thing is a top-notch product, and he's not quite happy with it yet, even though I think we're head over heels and over the moon with what we see with it. It's everything that we could have asked for. It's different, it's unique, it sets us apart from every other company out there. We are the Full Velocity Network. We have a big badass pace truck out there, and that's how we do it. And we're going to have an awesome paint job on it once we get around to getting all of those technicalities worked out with it. And, you know, I'm super excited for the finished product when J-Rock finishes it, and I can't thank him and Spline Design Studios enough for what they've done for it. I can't thank Dave Stanley of NRT Game Servers enough for graciously going out there and getting that project started for us. And I know Todd's just as excited about it. I know you're excited. I think everybody can understand my excitement for it. It's awesome, and you know, just seeing it out there on the track and seeing it come to reality, it makes it that much better. So thank you again to those guys for making that product and getting that project out there.
Well, what better way to put the maximum, you know, impact experience like we do here, you know, the overdrive high octane energy in a showcase like no other. It's balls out, no doubt. It's the ultimate esport experience right here live on the Full Velocity Network. Hanging out with our buddy Frank Divins and the guys at Extreme Motorsports tonight. Segment number 2 coming to a close here tonight. Championship night from the Talladega Super Speedway for the Extreme Motorsports Super Speedway Truck Series that runs here each and every Thursday night. 11 p.m. Eastern Time is the qualifying time, open to anybody who'd like to come be a part of it. And if you're liking what you're seeing here, this series serves as a prelude to our friends over at the Sim Racing Association. The Friday night DraftKings Extreme Midnight Series runs off of this very same track and these very same trucks tomorrow night. Midnight Eastern Time is the qualifying time. Anybody welcome to come run in that series as well. But Blake, we're getting ready to put this fiesta, I should say, back under the green flag. It's a party here tonight at Extreme Motorsports at Talladega. Let's get this party started with more green flag racing.
Exactly, and the green flag will drop, and it looks like Derek Justice will have Martin Karch pushing Derek right past his teammate David Day. It looks like David Day has nobody behind him. He's going to have to fall back a little bit as Jim Black is catching up to the top two there of Karch and Justice on the bottom. And it looks like Guyswide will pull up to his teammate David Day. But yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see here. It looks like those cars from 8th on back from the restart, looks like they pit off here right before as we came to the one to go, and it looks like they'll be good on fuel. Don't know what implications that may have, but I thought that was worth noting.
Oh, it certainly is worth noting if you're looking at the pit window being somewhere from 12 to 14 laps. You know, why not come in and top off? You may, you know, gain yourself another half a lap of fuel that way. So who knows if this thing stretches out to a full green flag run. Only 20 laps of 57 on the board, so lots of racing here left to go. If we get under the green flag, 2, maybe 3 green flag pit stops from here, so that extra gamble coming in to top off, that may pay off here later in the run as the field working its way now through turns number 1 and 2. Great race going on up there for the race lead. The outside lane looking to be the line that's going to pay off right now. Is that Scott Geis? So that's Martin Karch up there, the 33. He's found the race lead with teammate David Day pushing. Scott Geis right in the 47 right there in the back bumper as they hit turn 3 on the outside lane. The inside lane's got Derek Justice and Jim Black, and they're trying to make that charge forward with help from Greg Lovell. 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through the field, Blake, off of turn 4.
Exactly, that's what we were talking about earlier. Which lane has the most trucks? They have about the same here, all the way back here to 10th spot, where you got the 80 of Michael Cole and the 98 of Jessica Shelton. They're all side by side, 2 wide, all the way through the field. You don't really have one lane that seems to be dominating right now. So, as you can see, it looks like those 2 lanes are going to be side by side for quite a while as they're both battling each other for that momentum. It looks like the bottom lane's a little bit better in the corner. Then it looks like you got that top lane who's able to get a little bit of momentum down the straightaway. It looks like Martin Karch is going to be able to peek out just a hair here, and he'll be clear of the 31 machine of Justice. But Justice will come back here on the bottom and make it a race again.
Oh, he certainly will. It's going to be a race all night long. Now, Joe, I'm going to ask you the same question we asked you in the first segment. We've seen around the green flag pit stops. We've seen a caution flag that, tore up a couple of these trucks. You still have that same mindset? You want to get to the front and stay clear of the wreck, or are you going to save your truck and maybe run toward the back right now? What are you thinking?
Oh, anybody that has raced with me on Super Speedways knows that I try to stay as far away from the back of the pack as possible. I feel much more comfortable running up front. Even though you put yourself in a more of a dangerous position if you happen to get booted out of line for whatever reason, I feel like being in front of the wreck, or at least trying to be in front of the wreck, usually ends up to be a lot better than being behind the wreck and trying to get through it. So even up to this point in the race, I try to qualify up front, and I try to keep myself up front and lead as many laps as I can and stay there to position myself, for potentially a win or a top 5 finish towards the end of these things.
Oh, it looks like, ooh, what a great save by Matt Watkins there. I was following along with him. It looks like he scraped the apron with that left rear tire. And, man, he just about got into our championship leader at the moment, Doug Lockrow. But, man, that was a great save back in the pack as he's able to collect it up.
Now, Blake, let me ask you, as a guy who's, won races at a super speedway, won championships before, if you're a guy like Doug right now who almost was involved in a wreck there, had that pit road issue, how much are you feeling it in the cockpit right now? Are your hands getting a little sweaty? Are your heart racing a little bit? As a guy who hasn't raced for many championships myself, I've won a couple, but it's been quite a while since I've seen myself competing and going to victory lane. But what do you think he's feeling inside the cockpit of that 18 right now?
It's definitely feeling a little bit of pressure. There's definitely a little bit of extra weight that comes. Even though he's got a 15-point lead out of an 18-car field, you just never know what can happen, especially in a Super Speedway Series where maybe you don't have as much control of the outcome. So he's definitely feeling a little bit of pressure. If anything, he just needs to make sure he has a clean race, dots all his eyes, and just is able to get through this race as smoothly as possible. You want to try to stay out of trouble, but also we've really seen at these super speedways, whether it's cup guys even trying to pull the same strategy, it's not really a safe spot on the track unless you want to pull off the draft and lose a bunch of time and go a lap down. So really, if you're at the front or at the back, there's really not much you can do, and it must be a little bit more nerve-wracking since it's just a Super Speedway Series and knowing all the things that can possibly go wrong. He's in good shape. He's just got to keep his 4 legs under him, and hopefully he's just able to kind of smooth his way to a championship if need be.
And I'm sure the mindset for Doug, 15 points is a pretty good, healthy margin, but you got to feel better if you can see the 24 in your sights, and of course that Randall Coleman. But Joe Allen, as a guy who has won trophies in these Super Speedway Series before as a champion, let me ask you this question. If you're Randall Coleman, the 024, you're racing for a championship, I mean, you got to lay it all out here tonight and try to get the checkered flag and collect all the points you can. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. My latest Super Speedway championship came with, its troubles and its adversity with an early accident in the very last race of the segment. It was a huge team effort to get me up there to finish second place, and I think I won that championship by maybe a point, possibly, at Insomniac Racing. Won that by a point, and it was a full team effort. So, Randall, I think Randall's just as competitive as the rest of us are, and I don't anticipate Randall going very far from the front there, and he's got 3 teammates in front of him, 3 teammates that I'm sure will do everything they possibly can towards the end of this thing to try and help him get a championship. But The unfortunate thing for Randall, with him being 15 points out of the lead right now, is he really needs Doug to have some trouble. And Doug getting that penalty that he got earlier was actually a little bit of a saving grace that Randall needed. The only problem was that caution came out and it caught Doug right back up, and that was something that 24 truck really didn't want to see. So, you know, Randall's doing everything he possibly can to put himself in position to steal a championship from Doug, but he's going to need a little bit more help from the racing gods out there, and a little trouble for Doug to really do anything else. But, you know, we obviously don't wish that on Doug either. We're cheering for both of these guys to go out there and potentially win a championship here tonight. And I'm sure both of those guys are doing just about everything they can to keep themselves in positions here to win this thing.
And that's spoken like a true champion right there, and sure hope you got that trophy to showcase as a Super Speedway champion, Joe, and you're on right. Believe you got one coming probably a day from now. I think you'll show it off as the reigning SRA Draft King. So we'll leave that trophy debate for another day. I know as Joe is going to show us all that on the Full Velocity Facebook tomorrow. But the racing, Blake, as they hit turn number 3, is that Martin Karch machine, the 33 to the race lead. David Day been all over the back bumper. Scott Geiswhite, the third truck up high in that top lane, with the inside lane starting to move forward. How about Tom Richter, the 34? He's trying to make waves happen. Almost a little bit of contact between him and the 47. That Avis machine, Blake, he's moving forward up to the third spot, maybe looking to the inside, maybe for second as they hit turn 1.
Absolutely. It seemed like that whole conversation we were having there about championships, we had the top line really just showing off. It seemed like Martin Karch was really after the money tonight, as it looked like Tom Richter will continue to go forward. He'll have the momentum from Derek Justice, and he will clear the 33 and the 5. And Tom Richter, we haven't really been talking about him much tonight, and really he just came out of nowhere and just took the lead from this field, and he's got the 31, probably one of the best in the business, right behind him in Derek Justice. Unfortunately, though, it looks like there's only about 3 cars in that middle lane. It looks like David Day will use all that momentum on the top side to kind of rocket back here. So the racing was about single file on that top side for a couple laps, but it looks like it's starting to spice up here again as we're coming to, it looks like 28 to go as they cross the line.
Absolutely, 28 to go. And we talked about Tom Richter coming out of nowhere, but don't sleep on that 34. I've raced with him on a Super Speedways before. He is no stranger at all to putting that 34 up in the victory lane on these Super Speedways, and I think Tom will definitely be a player before the end of this thing is out. But as the racing action heads toward turn number 3, 30 laps of 57 up the board, so we're approaching the halfway mark. Looks like the race for the lead for the moment has settled down as David Day has reclaimed the lead in the number 5. Scott Geiswhite, the 47, up back to second. But let's put a period on that for now, Blake. Pit stops happening. Here those race leaders come down the pit road.
Yeah, it looks like all 4 of these guys had some smooth stops here. It doesn't seem like anybody's going to be speeding. It looks like David Day here is going to lead them onto pit road as he gets a little bit of a gap, about a 4 truck length gap between Scott Geiswhite, and here he is. He'll stop in, and it looks like he's going to pick up the jack on the right side. He's going to take 2 tires, and we'll see if they drop the jack, and we'll go around and get 4. And it looks like, yep, the left sides are going up. Let's see if any of these other guys are going to take 2 tires, and it looks like David Day will be the first one away. It looks like all these guys start stopping for 4 tires. As the field comes back around, we're sure to see more of these guys on pit road.
Oh, absolutely. I saw Jim Black take 4 tires. Scott Geiswhite, I believe it was 2 tires there. You know, you had the David Day spot. Also, Martin Karch came in. I believe it was a 2-tire pit stop there. But looking toward pit road, looks like our race leader, Sean Whitehill, may flash by another time. But looks like we may have some more takers coming onto pit road here, Blake.
Oh, absolutely. We got a full field down here as they're almost 3 wide here on the pit road as Tom Richter, Coleman, and Derek Justice are battling. And it looks like these guys will pull in. I wonder how many 2-tire or 4-tire stops I'll see here. If you run 4 tires, you're running the risk of possibly losing the draft when you come back out. And speaking of the draft, those 3 cars that are left on the track, wondering if they're going to lose some time here since they only have 3 cars drafting. It looks like all these guys are away. There's a big battle towards the exit of pit road, and it looks like they're all going to clear the way.
Yeah, they cleared it, but there was almost a little calamity there. Matt Watkins got really, really loose, but, looks like it was a 2-tire pit stop for the likes of Ricky Collette. Also, our point leader, Doug Lockrow, Randall Coleman, runner-up in points right now, also 2 tires. Looks like it was also 2 tires for the Derek Justice machine, the 31. So looks like all these guys joining the fray back on pit road. But Blake looking toward the pit lane. our current race leader, Sean Whitehill in the 53, has found his way on.
We have, and there was actually something interesting happened on pit road. The Extreme Motorsports owner over here, Frank Divens, had to stop on pit road. He thought he was speeding, and it looks like he's parked too close to the pit road wall. He's not going to be able to take left side, so he's forced to take 2 tires after a blunder that looks like it may cost him the draft with the 53 and 088 as they're down and away, and it looks like he's still left in pit road, as Derek Justice will lead the pack of cars that have pitted, and it looks like they may be able to rocket around these guys as Lovell will come up into turn 1 and Justice will look to go around him. Hopefully the 088 has enough momentum to tag on to this draft.
Greg Lovell there, the 088, had a really, really good pit stop, but not so much for the Extreme Motorsports owner, as you said, Frank Divens. You know, we talk about here, the pit road, you know, penalties here at Extreme Motorsports, they're pretty severe, guys. If you're hot pitting at what they call over 55 miles per hour at that line, they leave it up to the driver's hands. You may not get, per se, a black flag. I mean, we're playing an old game, NASCAR Racing 2003. It's almost 15 years old, so it's not up to date and modern like we see in NASCAR today. But these track monitors and all these series do an awesome job trying to authenticate this as realistic as possible. What these guys have to do, if they even believe they may be in jeopardy of hot pitting, what they got to do here at Extreme is they got to come to a complete stop on pit road. See, if somebody's hot there, like Frank obviously thought he was, he came to a complete stop, you know, 0 miles per hour. That's what he looks for. And then he rolled his way to his pit stall and, you know, looks like he maybe got too far to the left, only got 2 tires. But it's a pretty stiff penalty here at Extreme. If you mess up on pit road, you know, not only do you usually get that black flag with the speeding penalty, you also got to reduce your speed to 0. So you run the risk, Blake, and looks like, Frank, that's going to happen to you. You can lose the draft here. Pit road is such a crucial place, and you can't afford to make mistakes.
Oh, absolutely. It looks like one of those other guys that made a mistake as he's coming up here out of turn number 2. It looks like he had to pit and take a penalty. That was the 53 of Sean Whitehill as he's merging onto the track. Looks like Scott Geiswhite's also back here. Not quite sure what happened on that machine. The 54 of Jaden Consterk has lost the draft. The 86 of Jim Black and Frank. And also we have about 2 packs here battling for the lead, as Greg Lavelle is kind of the liaison between the two, as David Day, Martin Karch, Jessica Shelton, and Michael Cole are all trying to get single wide so that they can try and run down that lead pack that's headed by Derek Justice.
Now, when they got almost a 4-second interval to run down there between themselves and that lead pack, looks like that group led by David Day and Martin Karch, they may pick up Greg Lovell. Looks like they may be in his draft, so you maybe make that a 5 to 6 car train, but they're going to have a Super 8 to catch at the front of this field, guys. The top 8 have pulled away. You know, Derek Justice, our current race leader. Randall Coleman is second. Tom Richter third. Ricky Collette is fourth. Matt Watkins rounds out your top 5. 6 through 10, we find Doug Lockrow. Mikey Marotta in the 63. He's currently 7th. Ryan Pace, the 88. That's your Super 8 at the front of this field that got in touch with the lead draft. Outside the top 8, 9th, we find David Day. Greg Lovell has dropped to 10th. Martin Karch 11th. Jessica Shelton is 12th. Michael Cole currently 13th. That pack of trucks has 4 seconds to run down from our race leaders. We look 20 seconds behind that pack. We find the likes of Jim Black, the 86. He is currently 14th. Jaden Consterk, he is currently 15th aboard the 54. Scott Geisway is the 47. He is currently 16th. Sean Whitehill, the 7th, is 17th in the 53. And Frank Divens, number 9. He's going to round out your field here. 1 lap down in 18th. That is your full field rundown here past the halfway marker. Sponsored by the Full Velocity Network. Find us at our home, fullvelocitynetwork.com. Book your league here live now to get on Full Velocity here. I think you guys out there, you'll be impressed with the rates we're charging here for this product. Custom fit to fit all your league's needs. No league too big or too small. Race servers do not matter if it's NRT game servers like we have here tonight, Race LM, NFO, whoever you may get your servers from, Direct IP. This look here is going to be consistent. It's never going to change. You can expect the full high-quality product you get here on the Full Velocity Network, night after night, week after week. So check out our website, fullvelocitynetwork.com. And experience the ultimate esport experience as only we can give you here on Full Velocity. But Blake, we look on the racetrack, this top 8 may become a top 15 here soon, but you are keeping an eye on the 88 and the 63. What do you got there for a story?
As I was as these guys were driving by in the tri-oval up here where we were in the booth, it sounded like these two trucks were a little bit quiet, and I can confirm that it sounds like the 63 of Marotta and the 80 of Cole, or not the 80 of Cole, my bad, the 88 of Ryan Pace. They were clutching over here in the tri-oval as they were catching up to this pack. And even right now, you could see as Ryan Pace coming by the tri-oval here, you can also hear him rolling in the clutch. So there may be a mixture of fuel strategy going on here between these guys that are at the back of the pack.
Now, what I think we're seeing here are these guys trying to save that fuel. These guys may be trying to save enough to make it on just one more pit stop. You know, the fuel window here tonight looking to be 12 to 14, so it's championship night. Maybe something to gamble on here later tonight here, Joanne.
Yeah, absolutely. Pit strategy is going to really come down to it, especially with some of these guys taking 4 tires on their previous pit stop. If you can come down here and maybe save enough to only have to do one more pit stop, maybe even take a less amount of fuel to make it to the end, whether it be a can of fuel, a can and a half of fuel, that would really dictate how many tires you have to take on this pit stop. Guys that have to take 2 cans of fuel, it's not going to matter whether or not they take 2 tires or 4 tires. But guys, if they can make it on a can to a can and a half, you're going to be able to take 2 tires and get yourself out to a really large and substantial lead. But, you know, where you have to think about that as well is if guys in the back like the 63 of Marcus Marotta, the 88 of Ryan Pace, if they're the only 2 guys on that strategy, they're more than likely going to get swallowed up by the guys towards the front of this pack as well. So I don't know if the strategy is going to work with how much time they'll have left, but you know, it certainly could. We've seen crazier things on the Full Velocity Network before.
Yes, we certainly have. But I'm looking down to the YouTube chat box. Our buddy Blake here, first time in the Full Velocity booth, but looks like no stranger at all to riling up these guys in the YouTube chat box. He's already put the call out. Who do you think is going to win this race here tonight? These guys got at least one more green flag pit stop to make tonight. So I want to see your predictions coming in, seeing Dakota Wilkins checking in. He's thinking Tom Richter is going to win. J-Rock being wishy-washy, thinking it's either going to be Martin Karch or David Day. You know, Tyler Orty out there, he's picking Doug Lockrow, which is a really good pick. Bob Tompkins has clocked in. He thinks the number 5 is going to win. But, guys, all right, we'll put a cap on that real quick here. We're 41 laps into this race, so we've got something special coming up here in just about a lap and a half from now we'll get to here. I'm going to let Joe Allen set this up for us here, or he's going to give me the cue for our special tribute coming up on lap number 43. Okay, so what we're going to do here, guys, the field working its way to number 3 and 4. Every time we come to Extreme Motorsports, our friend Jim Black and Frank Divins, they always come out and say, guys, we want to pay tribute to our friend Brian Knighting, a guy who was in this community for a long time. We've done the Brian Knighting Memorial Race a couple of times here with Jim over the years. Last year, most recently at Extreme Motorsports. And what we want to do here tonight at Extreme is pay tribute to our late friend Brian Knighting. So in tribute of Brian, we're going to have a silent lap 43.
All right, as we complete lap 43, it looks like we got a whole bunch of cars that decided to come to pit road. They're going to try and make it here on one stop and go about 15 laps here, as it was the number 5 of David Day, the 33 of Martin Karch, the 80 of Michael Cole down here on pit road. Only 3 cars here, as it looks like the rest of these guys may try to stretch it a little bit further and see what they can do on fuel. We're going to see how many tires these guys are going to take. I'd be surprised if it wasn't 2 tires. since some of them may have taken 4 earlier. And it looks like that's what we got here on the number 5 machine of David Day. 2 tires and up and away for the guys on that number 5 team. And it looks like Martin Karch is going to try to do the same thing, as it looks like he's kind of stalling out. It looks like he had some trouble getting out of his pit stall. He's going to lose all that time, and it looks like Day and Cole are going to be leaving pit road on his own, as we have more coming in right now.
Well, we certainly do. Pit road is open here as these guys hoping to make their final pit stop. What I'm seeing for those guys who just came in, those guys are out of the point scenario. They're just here for, to win on full velocity here tonight. But looking on the pit road, seeing the Nationwide Chevrolet, Ryan Pace on the pit road, 2 left side tires. Mikey Marotta, 2 left side tires on the Speed Stick machine. The Speed Channel machine of Jaden Consturk, the number 54, 2 left side tires. Tom Richter also on this end of pit road. No tires here, Blake. I'm not sure what you got on the far end of pit road.
Well, it looks like I'm looking here towards the front. It looks like Derek Justice, a surprising move. He took 4 tires as he'll lose a little bit of track position. Oh, we got trouble. It's Scott Geiswhite down here at the exit of pit road. Looks like he's gone around. I'm not sure if that will bring out a yellow flag since he's out of the way, but really unfortunate there is the 47 looks like getting through the gears off of pit road. It'll spin the car around.
Oh, absolutely.
But we have green flag conditions out.
Yeah, green flag still on the speedway. Looks like Scott got it out of the racing group, just kind of looped it, as you said. One of those things really easy to do on cold tires here at Talladega. You're coming up through the gearbox. The apron always going to be a little bit treacherous and slippery, and looks like Scott getting a little bit overzealous coming up to speed. I've done this 100 times before myself, just looped it down there, and you hate it for him, as that was the money pit stop, as we call it. Scott Geiswhite going to be off the draft, and looks like it's one of the contenders we're going to see maybe not be in contention for a win, Blake, if this thing stays green.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it is. It looks like we got our last bit of cars here coming to pit road. It looks like just the number 9 and the 86 will duck down, and looks like they'll get 2-4 tires and hopefully try to fill it up. This actually could be interesting with, some of these guys pitting about 13 or 14 laps in a run. These guys may actually be set up well to make it to the end. I'm not sure if these leaders here will be able to make it to the end without doing some clutch work. So we'll see how this pit strategy plays out and see if we have a caution or not.
Yeah, the last of the group I saw come to pit road, I believe Matt Watkins and Greg Lovell were in that last group. You got to think those guys got to be comfortable for making it here. That big group of cars we saw the lap before with Derek Justice, Randall Coleman, and whatnot. I believe those guys are going to be pretty close on fuel. The ones I'm concerned the most about here, Joe, the guys we saw on pit road in that first wave, the David Days, the Martin Karches, the Michael Cole, 15 laps here at Talladega, especially talking 3X as far as the fuel burning off goes. That's a lot of clutching and a lot of time saving. I'm not sure I like that gamble. As a guy who's won races here, what do you think?
Yeah, I think they were banking on a better pit stop as well. The problem is David Day, if you can see, he looks like he's about 3 seconds off the race lead right now, essentially coming down, a lap earlier than everybody else. And, I'm not sure that was the right strategy call. I see our buddy David Childhouse out there in the chat. He said D-Day blew it. So David Childhouse seems to have the right idea. He's got the same thoughts that the rest of us do. Unless a miracle happens here, I'm not sure that was the right strategy call. I got to agree with you, Phil.
I'm not sure either, but looking up through this lead field, Blake, if these guys have come to pit road for the last time, we see Doug Lockrow. He is right there in the lead draft. Also, Randall Coleman, he's up there in that runner-up spot in that second position. But Randall doing all he can do, but Doug, by not messing up that last pit stop, being on that lead draft, he may be in position to take home the second 2 championship. Not sure on the point structure how it works, where he's guaranteed, where his minimum finish can be to automatically clinch it, but would you think he's comfortable right now riding in that 8th spot?
It's certainly better to be running up there than back there with some of these guys that had some unfortunate circumstances happen on their green flag stops. But the one thing Randall Coleman can't do is worry about that. He has to go up there and he has to find any way to get around Derek Justice and try to win this race. Any of the bonus points that can come with winning will certainly help him, and he can't worry about anything that Doug's doing right now. He's got to focus on his own race and seeing how in the world he can rocket around that Baskin-Robbins floor that's always so strong when we come here to these super speedways and really any track.
No, and he certainly excels at a super speedway here. He knows where the fast lines are. He knows how to play the traffic, and DJ looking poised here. He's had a monkey on his back here for about a couple of months. trying to just knock off just a win in any series, but right now looking to be the guy in that perfect spot to do so. You can believe it, guys. This race zooming right on by. Next time around, 50 laps of 57 going on the board. What an awesome race, an awesome job by Frank Divins and all the guys over here at Extreme Motorsports, especially Doug Lockrow, the guys responsible for getting us over here this evening, letting us showcase this great series live on the Full Velocity Network. But looking up to the front of the field, you see DJ with the race lead. Randall Coleman tucked up right in line there in the second spot. Looks like the action, Blake, happening around for that third spot. Greg Lovell there in that black and green truck, all over the back bumper of that Cheerios Dodge of Jessica Shelton. Greg trying to make stuff happen out in the outside lane. So this race may be nowhere near over as those, that group third on back. Jessica's got her handful riding there in third.
Oh, absolutely. And there was actually almost an incident there where 54 Jaden Consterg looked to make contact with Matt Watkins as he was passing him down there in turn one. So definitely not just guys that are running up in the top being able to affect this race. It seems like some of these lappers will too. So we look through this top five here. We got Derek Justice leading. No surprise there. We got the 024 of Randall Coleman trying to chase down a championship in second place. We got Jessica Shelton up here showing these guys how it's done in third in that great looking Cheerios Ram. And then we got Greg Lovell in fourth, and then Matt Watkins in fifth place. It looks like we're set up for a great ending here. It's just, when do you make a move? We got about 6 or 7 laps here to go. When do you make a move to try and win this race? Because you almost don't want to go too early and be a sitting duck. And it's going to be interesting to see if these guys, how many different lanes these guys utilize to try to get a run, as all 3 of these lanes work. And we have to think about fuel strategy here. How many of these guys can make it here to the end? Or are we going to have guys running out of fuel here in the tri-oval? It will certainly be something to watch, as I just heard the 52 clutch it as he drove by our booth here in the tri-oval. So it's definitely something it's going to be an interesting last 5 laps, that's for sure.
No, absolutely. These guys, especially the group that pitted early, you got to think they got to be, on the edge of their seat. Do I have enough fuel? What do I got to do to save? You saw, likes of David Day, speed on pit road, so he had to make a stop and go penalty here. That put him 1 lap down. Martin Karch with the issues there, 1 lap down. The only guy in that lead group that came out of that clean is Michael Cole in the number 80, but he's relegated back without a draft partner. He's outside the top 10 right now, currently 11th. Believe we may have had our first alien abduction of the night that may move Michael into a top 10. Believe Ryan Pace, the unfortunate victim here. Looks like aliens have captured the connection of our friend Ryan in that number 88. He was up in that top lead group, so tough break for him. But Blake, 5 to go at the line. The question is, when do you make that run? How deep in this field right now if you're a guy, you say you're Doug Lockrow, you're Matt Watkins, your guys, out, 5th place on back. Is it too early to try to make that move and go, or is it time here? 5 laps to go. It's a long time at Talladega, but when you're running 6th or 8th, you sometimes got to do all you can to make stuff happen. When is too soon and when is too late, especially at the back of the field?
When you're at the back of the field and you see inside 5 to go, that's time to go. You're inside the top 10 with 5 to go. You have just as good of a shot at winning as anybody else. You just got to start making moves. Now, if you're running up there in that 2nd, 3rd spot, you just have to look at what happens behind you. You got to rely on that spotter to tell you where the runs are coming from and use that mirror to try to hopefully catch a wave of momentum to try and pass that lead car. As it looks like Randall Coleman will peek out, but he'll peek back to the bottom. He's looking for that move. He's just not sure when he can make it.
He's peeking. He keeps, searching that high lane, searching the low lane, looking to see where is Derek going to slip up, where does he get that run from. The question I have, Joe, if you're that 3rd truck in line, if you're Jessica Shelton, I believe it's her very first time here live on any of our airwaves, especially here live on Full Velocity. I believe she's our first female driver we've ever had here live on the airwaves. It'd be cool to see her make that move and maybe make her own bid to victory lane. That'd be certainly a first for all of us.
Absolutely. You never really know what the person in third's intentions are. If you're the guy running in 2nd, you're hoping that the person in 3rd is willing to go with you, but there's a very high possibility that they may go with the bottom line. And as we say that, it looks like Jessica's dedicated to the 24. They all sort of made that move up to the top side there. Nothing happened there. They all ducked back in line, but Jessica has a very high possibility to kind of do what she needs to do for herself. If Randall can get up beside the 31, Jessica in that number 98 machine can kind of put herself wherever they're not and see if maybe she can propel herself out to the lead here. So I think she may even be in the catbird spot as we're coming down here to 2 laps to go as we go through turns 3 and 4 here.
Guys, it looks like these lap cars are definitely getting on it back here, so that's probably a sign to Randall Coleman. If there's a caution, this race is over. If you're one of those guys up in second and third, it's probably about time to start making moves because you don't know which lap could potentially be the checkered flag.
Well, they certainly look like, Blake, that is the thinking of Randall himself. There is a hit turn number 1, but 24 in the middle lane, he's going to get turned. He'll be out of shape. So you talked about this could be the last caution flag of the race. The yellow flag is on the speedway. These guys going to race back to the start-finish line. So the race is a drag race down the backstretch. Greg Lovell making the run to the low side. Derek Justice up high. It's going to be these 2 trucks, Blake, drag racing. Who's going to win here live at the Talladega Super Speedway? They're in turn 3.
I don't know. It looks like that 88 of Ryan Pace is going to help somebody, whoever's draft he can get. It looks like the Derek Justice is going to be able to utilize some of that draft from the 88, and it looks like that'll be the difference. Derek Justice is going to pull away, and it looks like he's going to have no challenge as he'll come to the checkered flag, and barring 1 lap to go under caution, it looks like Derek Justice has just won this race.
Oh, absolutely. Looks like checkered flag going to come out next time around. That was the white flag and the yellow flag, but no way we're going to see a restart here. Great move there by Derek Justice. Looked like Greg Lovell may have had that run there down the back stretch to complete that pass, but he's going to come up a little bit short. Tom Richter, what a great run. We said don't count out Tom. He's going to end up on the podium. Doug Lockrow, going to be our segment 2 series champion over here at Extreme on the Super Speedway Truck Series. He comes home 4th, and Jessica Shelton, she was up in that top 3. Unfortunate contact between her and Randall, but she has a great top 5 run to her own right, Blake.
Oh, definitely so. It was a great run for a lot of these guys. It's definitely a shame to see the 024 trying to up here running for a championship, and it just looks like he was in the wrong place at the wrong time up here. But definitely a great job by Derek there. You got to use what's available to you, and that 88 car of Ryan Pace, that lap truck running on the high side, just happened to be in the right place at the right time. He was helping Greg a little bit down the backstretch, and as he went to go out of the way, Derek Justice was able to recognize that and use that draft to be able to gain some momentum off of turn number 4. And there to the line, it wasn't really a race. Derek was able to use that draft to just kind of pull away. So a little bit of smart driving by Derek there. Even if it was a lap car, it wasn't enough to make the difference.
Oh, it certainly was. As a field, behind the full velocity semi-rig, the first time for us tonight. Derek Justice going to go to victory lane. He's going to win the segment 2 finale, sponsored by Coast Motorsports here, live on the Full Velocity Network. Derek's first win here on the Full Velocity Network. We've seen him in victory lane. It feels like 1,000 times before, and by way of the victory, I believe he's going to pick up $26 as a cash prize here tonight. He'll be free to take that money or donate it to any cause of his willing here. Doug Lockrow stepping up here with that donation. Of course, Doug going to pick up the championship here in segment number 2. So we'll let these guys get all cooled off. And man, Blake, that was an awesome race here. We'll try to get these guys all screened out and move to the post-race show. But for first time out, man, with these guys at Extreme, what an awesome race by these guys.
Absolutely. We saw a lot of green flag races. It's always interesting when you can get fuel mileage to be I'm trying to look here at the replay here. It looks like there was a lot of contact between the 31 of Derek Justice and the 088 as they were coming down. It forced the 088 below the yellow line, so these guys are definitely rubbing fenders and, trying to go all out for this win. But definitely it was a great show. A great job by these drivers being able to put on a long green flag race here at a Super Speedway.
Absolutely, Blake. We're going to move on to the post-race show. We'll see if we can't talk to our top 3 finishers and ultimately our 2017 Extreme Motorsports Super Speedway Series Segment 2 champion. That, of course, Doug Lockrow with that 4th place finish. He'll, no doubt pick up the championship here tonight. So we'll see if we can't talk to all these guys here on the post-race show. But Blake, you've done a great job of the booth here all night, but now it's time for probably the toughest thing we do here in all the broadcasting. That's called post-race interviews, and you're going to be first on tap. I'm going to throw it down to you. I believe you've caught up with Tom Richter, our 3rd place finisher.
I sure have here. I've caught down here at pit road. He's taking a little bit of sip of water. And Tom, I just wanted to ask you, there's a lot of crazy things going on at the end of that race. How did you end up third, being able to get by all that carnage that was happening in turn one?
Well, I just kind of kept my foot and was hoping for the best at the end there. I wasn't sure how it was going to pan out. There was about 3 wrecks coming out of turn 2. We just had more cars in line on, I don't know who was below us. I think it was Jessica, and we just had 3 on top, 1 on bottom, so we were just able to go around her, and then I cut down on Doug. But
yeah, this seemed like the topic here was being we saw you make a few runs from the back up to the front. How are you able to work the lines here? We got 3 kind of distinct groups here. How are you able to work all 3 of those to try and get where you wanted to on the racetrack?
The lines were a lot of fun. As long as you had help behind you, you could go anywhere on the track. It's they've really done incredible stuff to these tracks over the past couple of years, and you can make it 3 and 4 wide racing, which is what they showed here tonight.
For sure, buddy, for sure. The mic's all yours if you want to say thank you to anybody who got here, the people that put this on. We'll give you about a minute here to say whatever you want. The mic's all yours.
I just want to first thank you guys for doing this. You guys always do an awesome job. We've had you in the past, and what do you call it? Congratulations to Doug on his championship. I know that's his first championship on here, and it's definitely a cool dude. Dakota Wilkins, he signed me to Dark Horse a couple months ago, so I know he's out there watching, so Thug for life.
All right, well, thank you, Tom. And folks, that's your third place finisher in the number 34, Avis Chevrolet. Tom Richter, he went from 8th to 3rd on that last lap to be able to talk to us here. And it looks like I'm going to throw it down to somebody else who has our second place finisher.
I do there, Blake. I've caught up with the 088 of Greg Lovell. Greg, 1 spot short tonight, finishing up at that 2nd spot. But, man, what an awesome race you guys put on here tonight. That looked like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a blast, man. I thought we was going to wreck there at the end. I had to go under him there, and I thought for sure I was going to wipe him out.
Well, we talked about that a couple of times. You guys were close out there all night. I mean, 3 wide racing all over Talladega. A couple of guys, running up the lane, a little bit of bumper contact, but these guys kept it straight. Talk about you were up near the front all night, but you've had to make that charge from mid-pack. Tell us what the racing was like mid-pack out there. It looked to be really, really intense out there.
Yeah, I was just trying to wait on that high line to form. That's really what I was waiting on, man, but I couldn't get nobody to go with me, so I just stayed in 4th place there. And when I seen I think it was the 54 go up high, I went up with him.
Yeah, we were talking about that amongst ourselves, watching you try to make that run to the outside. You kept peeking. How many laps there were left to go? Were you thinking that was the appropriate time to make your run? We were guessing about 2 to 3 with the right time from that 4th spot to maybe make that run at the win. Were you thinking the same thing, or were you willing to wait an extra lap or 2?
Probably 3 to go, back and forth. But if I was in 2nd, I would have probably went on the last lap.
Well, Greg, congratulations on an awesome run. You bring that thing home in the 2nd spot tonight. But I want to give you the microphone one more time here live for the first time on Full Velocity Network. Give a shout out to all your friends, your fans, your sponsors, anybody out there who may have been cheering on that 088 this evening.
I just want to thank you all for helping Frank out here at Extreme, and I want to say hi to I guess Danny and I don't know, everybody, I guess. Keep this game strong, guys. Keep it going.
Well, exactly right. Couldn't have said that more. Great to see this game thriving. We're all working in the right direction. But Greg, once again, buddy, congratulations on a 2nd place finish. And as always, good to talk to you. Hope to do this again soon, buddy. Good job.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, Greg Lovell bringing you home tonight in that 2nd spot, but I'm going to throw it down to victory lane. I am sure Joe Allen is down there, and he probably has the happiest guy, maybe not the happiest guy in Talladega right now, but a guy who's been chasing victory lane for about the last 2 months here, and he's finally got the monkey off his back here tonight, Joe, and that, of course, is our buddy DJ Derek Justice, who once again finds his way in familiar victory lane.
Yes, it is. Derek Justice finally found your way to victory lane. We know you've been searching for a win here for a little while now. You've had some success in other places, but you've also been probably one of the hardest critics on yourself out there based on your performance. But awesome to see you go out there, took the pole this evening, went out there, dominated the race. We know our champion, actually, Doug Lockrow, was pledging $1 for every lap led to the winner of the race, and you, my friend, led 26 laps tonight. So that's $26 that Doug Lockrow is going to give to you, and you can do with it whatever you please to do. But Derek, awesome run tonight. You did what everybody kind of anticipated and expected you to do. You went out there, you ran up front, you dictated where the lines were going to go, and you had one heck of a battle with Greg Lovell down there on the last lap, beating and banging off of one another down the backstretch, and a little bit of strategy with you with that number 88 machine of Ryan Pace to kind of propel yourself around Greg Lovell there. So tell us a little bit about that last lap. It was intense and it was crazy.
Well, I know the question everybody's probably asking in the YouTube chat, did I have enough fuel to make it? And the answer is yes. So regardless if the caution came out or not, I would have had enough fuel, and I would have blocked my butt off wherever lane was moving. But back to me and the 088 battle there. When I saw Matt was trying to do it on the outside, I didn't know if he was going to have help with him or not. So I was really focusing on where he was going, because he's running second. Then I think the 98 kind of turned him there, and he saved it. And it's just there's no lifting when it comes to the last lap there. But with the 088, I saw he had a run. I kind of hesitated if he went below the double yellow line or not, but it didn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter if he did it legally or not. You gotta take your chances, and you gotta race him hard. So I had to some way block his, slow down his momentum there, do a little side bump there to block his momentum, then use the lap car to get a little drive there. But you just gotta give what the track gives you when you want to win these things. I can't even speak right now. It feels like it's been forever and it's been a first for Full Velocity Network. But anyways, it feels good to win. Yeah, it was a heck of a race. So props to everybody that sponsored this race, Doug, and of course a tribute to Brian on lap 43. That was cool, and everything else that happened today. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was, you came out here and you kind of acted like a spoiler, and, we can hear the emotion in your voice. This has been a long time coming. You go out and you can dominate a lot of different places, but, like I said earlier, you're probably your hardest critic on yourself when you don't go out there and perform like you should and to the expectations that you set for yourself. So, from all of us up here in the booth, congratulations on your win. I know you're really excited to finally get that monkey off your back, so to speak, and you get yourself a win here on the Full Velocity Network, and that's always, kudos to anybody that can go out there and do that. I know it's an extra special victory just for that by itself. But Derek, I'm going to give the mic to you. I know you got a lot of friends and family and teammates and a bunch of other people that have helped you get here, and sponsors and all that fun stuff. So the airwaves are all yours, sir. Go ahead and thank whoever you want to thank, and again, congratulations on your victory here tonight.
All right, thanks, Joe. Of course, I want thank for Doug for sponsoring the race, and you just cannot name everybody that contributes here for this community. And speaking of teammates, I didn't have any today. I just gotta work whoever I had to work with to stay up front there. But congrats to everybody that ran a really clean race today. It was just a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, you touched on a great point, Derek. One caution here. This race slowed by one caution. Lots of green flag pit stops. That just shows the caliber of a lot of these guys over here at the Extreme Motorsports. So congratulations again, Derek, on your win here. You're first on the Full Velocity Network, and many more to come, I'm sure. You're a staple guy in that Sunday FTF Cup Series, which we'll be broadcasting that entire 10-race chase over there here starting in the next couple of weeks. So we sure we'll probably see a little bit more of you here on the Full Velocity Network here in the future. But guys, that's our race winner, the number 31 of Derek Justice. But I think we got one more person who's probably a whole lot more happier than Derek Justice is here. That's our Segment 2 champion here tonight, the sponsor of this race, Coast Motorsports. That's Doug Lockrow here. Doug, I'm going to throw it down to Phil Lacasse. I know he's caught up with you down there in our makeshift championship victory lane. And Phil, I think you got yourself a very, very happy individual here this afternoon.
Oh, absolutely. He comes in, Coast Motorsports, sponsoring this race, comes in running for a championship, puts up a donation to get us on the airwaves tonight. And Doug Lockrow 2017 Extreme Motorsports Super Speedway Truck Series Segment 2 champion, man. Congratulations. Do you believe it? Yeah, I know you're ecstatic.
I cannot believe it. I really can't. I coming into this race, I knew that the field might have been stacked against me, but with that final lap in the final pit stop, it just fell into my hand, and I could not be any more happier than I am right now.
Well, man, it's an awesome run. You did what you had to do. You stayed with the lead pack there after you got that caution flag to catch back up. You hit pit road all right all night long. You were in that lead pack, and most importantly, you missed a wreck there coming down to that closing lap. So, what were you thinking when you saw those guys bravely in front of you? I mean, you drove through all the clean air, and you came out, and you got a fourth place finish out of that. Pretty sure you got to be pretty happy with that.
I am really happy with that. When that wreck initially happened and it was starting to slide up there, I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to lose his championship. And then a hole opened up and I just went right through it. And if that hole wasn't there, I don't think I win the championship.
Well, Doug, we didn't do this when we talked to you earlier, but let's do it now. Give a shout out to all your friends, your fans, your sponsors out there, anybody that got you out here this evening. The floor is all yours, champ. Take it away.
I just want to thank Tom, Matt, who were out there on the track with me. My friend Endon Wright, his mother just had eye surgery, so shout out to him. And especially Frank for allowing me to run in this league. It's a great league, and I want to invite everybody to race here. It's just a awesome place to run.
Well, I couldn't echo those sentiments more. Well, once again, Doug, on behalf of all of us at Full Velocity, congratulations, buddy. Enjoy that championship. And I believe you were the first time, SRA Draft King, about a month ago here at Talladega. So I'm sure we'll see you tomorrow night trying to chase one of those trophies down again. So congratulations, man, and we'll see you back there on the racetrack tomorrow night. Good job, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
All right, our series champion, Doug Lockrow, going to wrap it up here tonight. But, Blake Joe, what a night, man. Blake, the first time for you here live on Full Velocity. You did a great job, man, first time out, and hope you had a good time. It was really fun to have you up here aboard.
Oh, absolutely. Again, I'm just honored that you guys would even ask me to come up here. I know I had a great time, and who knows if maybe y'all are comfortable with me. I can hopefully be up here enough. But anyways, I got to thank you guys for just allowing me to be here. And just looking down at that completely confetti covered, I can barely see the Jack Link's Jerky logo on the top of the hood of that car. It reminds me why we're all here and want to do this. So, again, just thank you guys for allowing me to be here and cover this really exciting race with you guys.
It was a lot of fun, but Joe Allen, we put the period on this awesome race for Frank Divins and all the guys in Extreme Motorsports tonight. But looking forward, next on the schedule, we have to go back to the iRacing world. The very first time for us to the Full Throttle Racing League, and it's a place that once upon a time Joe Allen called home. So I'm sure you're ready to go back to Full Throttle, see what those guys are up to, and do a little more iRacing. I think that's going to be a good time. No, you're excited.
Oh, I'm super excited to go visit some of my old friends. Those of you that know me know that I've been around this community for 10 years now. I started when I was a wee little 12-year-old kid trying to run this game and figure it out. And Full Throttle Sim Racing is where I called home for many years. Brody Hanna, Brandon Elder, Adam Edwards, Paul Strickland Jr., all those guys over there, class acts. And I'm excited. It's our second show in iRacing. We learned a lot when we were over there with the guys over at All-Star Racing and Michael Massey there couple weeks ago, and I'm excited to go out there. Short track racing, the Super Late Model Series, the Full Throttle Sim Racing Super Late Model Series, the Battle at the Bristol 200. It's going to be a really fun show to put on for those guys, and I know they're excited about it to get their series on the airwaves. They're new to the iRacing sim. They've come back from a 5 or 6 year hiatus. They got a core group of guys over there on the iRacing sim, and they're excited. They're looking forward to what they got over there. So I'm excited to get ourselves back over there and continue branching and expanding our brand, the Full Velocity Network, through all these simulation games. We don't want to stay dedicated to 1 or 2 sims. We want to branch out, and if you got ideas for broadcasting, shoot them by us. We're always willing to try out new things. So I'm super excited to go do that for those guys and catch up with some old friends that I haven't talked to in a couple of years.
No, can't wait to do that Monday night here, live time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Also, our NR 2003, that's where our loyal, fan base has been from our beginnings. Don't worry, guys, we're not going away. A full schedule of events coming up in the month of September. We visit the SRA 711 Super Truck Series on Wednesday night, September the 6th. The TDR Salute the Heroes 140 at Richmond, September 9th. Hobo Racing, September 10th. That's just a host of many others. We go to SMO next month for the Wounded Warrior Project race there. So check out the full schedule, guys. So much to get to. I believe 9 or 10 leagues coming up on the docket in the next couple of months. So check it out, fullvelocity.com. And, of course, subscribe to our YouTube page. If you're listening now, click on that subscribe button. Find us on our social media, Facebook, and on Twitter at Full Velocity TV. So until next time, for Joe Allen doing a fantastic job in the control booth as always, and for my broadcast partner, Blake McCandless, alongside tonight. Great job, partner. Can't wait to do it again. Todd Stanton in our thoughts and prayers here tonight with baby Sheldon. My name is Phil Lacasse. I'd like to thank everybody out there for watching us this evening on the Full Velocity Network, and we'll see you next time as we bring you the full ultimate esport experience. Good night.